In this video, we'll be taking a look at the original Cad Bane action figure for the Clone Wars animated line. So this figure saw its share of releases throughout the Clone Wars line, all the way from 2009 to the bitter end even. But this particular one you're looking at is the original release back in 2009. And I've had it in my collection ever since then. I got it on Christmas Day of 2009. And I know towards the end of 2009 at least, he was probably the most sought after action figure around at the time. So I distinctively recall you never really saw Cad Bane at retail when he first debuted. He did have a really strong debut. It was during the Hostage Crisis episode at the end of Season 1. And I distinctively recall that episode being a huge hit. And Cad Bane instantly became a fan favorite. That episode really sticks out to me to this day. I recall seeing it when it first premiered on television, and then I watched it repeatedly so many times afterwards. In fact, I recorded it at the time, and I ended up watching it a whole bunch of times afterwards. That Clone Wars episode will always stand out to me. And I think Cad Bane's a really cool character and action figure. So, at the time, he was highly sought out, and I think a lot of times you can get on eBay at the time, back in 2009, and he would often go for like $30 of free shipping, which at the time that was outrageous for an action figure. It's kind of like how Darth Revan and Darth Malak were during the 30th anniversary line. Highly sought after action figures. Nobody could find them at retail, and people were paying way above normal price for them on eBay. And I think that's what ended up being the case for this. Of course, I got it for Christmas, but just from the stories I heard, that sounds like that's what ended up being the case. And I did a little research myself at the time, and that's usually what I found as well. But Hasbro did wisen up to the demand for Cad Bane, and he got so many releases and repacks after that. And of course, we had the updated one in the Shadows of the Dark Side packaging. That by the time the Clone Wars line was ending, you could find this Cad Bane anywhere at retail, and a lot of times he could be on clearance, and you could still find a whole bunch of them on the pegs. So he went from being highly sought after, highly rare, to not so much sought after and easy to get hold of and fairly cheap. So interesting story about that. So let's just go ahead and take a look at this action figure. So I think as far as sculpting work is concerned, even though this Cad Bane here might be considered the better action figure, I think the sculpting work on this one is a lot more defined. And if I had to look at a silhouette of the two, I think this one would do a better job representing Cad Bane in the animated style compared to this one, at least. This one has more reputation as being more realistic in look. At least he could fit more with the realistic action figures. This one's definitely more of a better animated look, I think. So he has a lot of brown in him. He can't take his hat off there. It's a nice kind of contempt expression. You can definitely tell he's a Duros. You can see his breathing tubes there. Let me check this one real quick. I don't think you could take these off. Yeah. Always liked his hat. Looks really good. He has these tubes on his arms that are much more defined compared to the other one. Kind of limits the articulation of his elbows as well, because they get in the way, but it's not too big of a deal. It's black pants. He has his jet propulsions there. His holsters. Has his pack there, which on this one is sculpted into his trench coat. Well, on this one it's a separate accessory. So in terms of the articulation, he does have a ball joint at the head. And he has hinged shoulders, hinged elbows. I suppose he technically has swivel forearms, but you're not going to get a whole lot out of it because of those tubes. No swivel wrist. As far as waist is concerned, he technically has a swivel waist, but you're not really going to get a whole lot out of that because of the trench coat being in the way, and it would look kind of awkward if he did swivel his waist. He does have swivel hips, and then nothing in the knees or ankles, which I don't think is really that big of a deal for this action figure. I've never really had a problem with the no knee articulation or ankles. Neither of these action figures have ankle articulation, and it's never really been a problem for me. In terms of weapons and accessories, it comes with his 2 pistols, and they are different from the pistol set from the other figure, as you can see there. And they can fit well in his holster. Very nice fit. So he has 2 of those. And then he has this rifle here. Which you're not really going to get him to hold it with both hands because his arms just don't bend that way, unfortunately. So that's probably about the best you can really do. Let's just have him hold it like that. If he holds it, that is. Suppose the pose there is along the lines of he just got finished sniping someone and he's walking out to check the remains. I think that's pretty much all I could tell you about this Cad Bane. There's really not a whole lot to it. The accessories are very basic. I mean, it's just a rifle and 2 pistols. And then, of course, the action figure, it is what it is. There's really nothing extremely hidden detailed about it. As far as the repacks are concerned, I think it did come with a card. It's a different card compared to this one. But it did have that, and then of course the die and the stand. The original here did not come with a stand. So those were extra accessories. As far as anything else, I don't think there was any extra weapons or missiles or anything like that. So no matter which version of the original Cad Bane you get, I don't think it really matters so much. Some of them might be cheaper than others because they may have had more supply put out into the market. But the original is probably the more expensive one of the bunch because it was just so high in demand. And plus the packaging is a lot cooler compared to the other ones. It had a nice image of Cad Bane on it. It was the red and white package. Looks really nice. So would I recommend it for your collection? I totally would. Between the two, I don't think it matters. It's just your personal preference. Like I said, this one here I think is more of a realistic interpretation of it, and this one's a better animated interpretation of it. And you can see for yourself how that might be. I think this one's still fairly affordable. Maybe not this particular version, but the other ones that is. So do some research on eBay and you might find a good deal at some point. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for plenty more in the future. There will be lots more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate your support. And check out some of the links in the description as well. Thanks for watching.